The Indo-Pacific is on edge. Taiwan readies 50,000 drones. Australia and the Philippines launch their biggest war games. And China? China is flooding the Scarborough Shoal with ships to dwarf Manila. Taiwan is preparing a major expansion of its drone program, with plans to acquire nearly 50,000 unmanned aerial vehicles over the next 2 years. The move is part of a strategy to strengthen asymmetric capabilities in the face of mounting pressure from Beijing. According to a recent tender notice published on the Taiwanese government's procurement website, the Defense Ministry's Armaments Bureau plans to acquire 11,270 drones next year and 37,480 in 2027 across 5 categories, ranging from small multi-rotor craft to longer-range fixed-wing systems. All must be manufactured and assembled in Taiwan, with mainland Chinese components barred. Type A drones are multi-rotor VTOL platforms with a 6-kilometre control range, able to carry a 2.5 kg payload with 7 minutes of endurance, or able to operate for more than 30 minutes with only an optical payload such as a sensor or camera. Taiwan plans to buy 7,500 of them in 2026 and 26,500 in 2027. Type B drones are also multi-rotor VTOL platforms, but with a 25-kilometre control and transmission range and capable of flying for more than an hour under full load, including a 10 kg payload. Taiwan will buy 1,100 such drones in 2026 and 3,200 in 2027. The Type C fixed-wing drones are launched by catapult, modular and easy to disassemble, with a 90-kilometre range, 2-hour endurance and capacity for 10 kg payloads. There are 970 drones due next year to be followed by 2,980 drones in 2027. Type D are smaller fixed-wing drones with a 30-kilometre range and 30-minute endurance under load, with 1,350 units to be bought in 2026 and 4,450 drones in 2027. The Type E fixed-wing VTOL drones are resistant to strong winds during takeoff and landing, with a range of more than 100 kilometres and endurance of 2.5 hours. Taiwan expects 350 units for each of the next 2 years. The Bureau's R&D division explained that the focus is on reconnaissance strike integration, with new drones fielded first and refined according to tactical needs. Analysts noted that the specifications align closely with models already under development in Taiwan's defense industry.
Drone mobility and stealth had put the development focus on reconnaissance strike integration. Based on the Bureau's spiral development strategy, we will first field workable drones, then refine them according to tactical needs.
Cho Yuping, a former Missile Command Planning Director, said the requirements outlined so far should be seen as preliminary, and that domestic firms must now assess their ability to join what officials describe as a national production team. Taiwan's military has also signalled a shift in how drones will be used. Major General Liu Weijai from the Army's Political Warfare Command said drones will be treated as expendables or munitions, reflecting their rapid consumption rate in modern battlefields. The policy mirrors a similar reclassification by the United States earlier this year.
Drones have the characteristics of rapid iteration and high consumption rates. The Army plans to treat drones as expendables or ammunition, depending on how they are employed.
Analysts warn, however, that training and logistics remain pressing challenges. Without investment in operator proficiency and sustainment, some experts caution that Taiwan's large-scale procurement could risk outpacing its ability to deploy drones effectively.
If Taiwan merely piles up quantities without adequate training, regulations, or logistics, drones risk becoming another expensive but ineffective defense myth.
Beijing sees Taiwan as part of China to be reunited by force if necessary and has increased military activity near the island since William Lai Ching-te, whom it describes as a separatist and a troublemaker, took office in May last year. Most countries, including Taiwan's main international backer, the US, do not recognize the self-governed island as an independent state. However, Washington opposes any attempt to seize Taiwan by force and is legally bound to supply it with defensive weapons. Off the coast of Palawan, more than 3,600 troops from Australia and the Philippines are conducting their largest ever joint military exercise. Titled Exercise Alon, the drills include live fire operations, amphibious landings, air support missions, and special forces maneuvers. Observers from several regional partners, including the United States, Japan, and South Korea, are in attendance. Vice Admiral Justin Jones of the Royal Australian Navy said the exercise reflects Canberra's commitment to working with regional partners to protect sovereignty, uphold international law, and ensure nations can make decisions free from coercion. Jones described the drills as an opportunity to strengthen collaboration and project force across long distances in the Indo-Pacific.
This exercise reflects Australia's commitment to working with partners to ensure we maintain a region where state sovereignty is protected, international law is followed, and nations can make decisions free from coercion.
The exercise comes amid heightened tensions in the South China Sea, where incidents between Chinese and Philippine vessels have grown more frequent. Analysts say the timing underscores Australia's push to deepen defence ties with Manila, a partnership elevated to strategic status last year. Mark Manantan, director at the Pacific Forum, noted that unchecked Chinese activity risks legitimizing Beijing's control of disputed waters. He argued that maritime exercises with claimant states, including the Philippines, will become the norm as regional partners look to counterbalance China's influence.
If Chinese behavior remains unchecked in the disputed waters, Beijing will soon legitimize its de facto control. Thus, conducting maritime exercises with the Philippines, as well as other claimant states in the South China Sea, will become the norm. As China's belligerent behavior in the West Philippine Sea escalates, I think Australia will continue to maximize its long-standing partnerships with the Philippines and Japan alike.
For Australia, the Philippines represents both a frontline ally and a vital partner in safeguarding trade routes, most of which pass through the contested sea lanes. For Manila, the drills offer reassurance of support as it faces growing pressure from Beijing. Exercise Alon is scheduled to conclude on August 29th. Tensions are rising once again at Scarborough Shoal, where Philippine officials report a sharp increase in Chinese maritime activity. According to the National Maritime Council, 7 Coast Guard vessels and 13 militia ships from China were deployed near the contested atoll last week. By comparison, the Philippines had a single vessel, the BRP Teresa Magbanua, in the area. Alexander Lopez, a spokesman for the council, suggested that the surge was Beijing's attempt to reassert control after 2 Chinese ships collided earlier this month during a chase involving a Philippine vessel. Lopez said the deployment looked like a way for China to recover from an embarrassing incident and project authority.
Maybe this is one of their ways to twist what happened, because that was very embarrassing for them, and they want to project again that they're in control to cover up the issue.
The build-up follows the collision on August 11th, when a Chinese Navy ship and a Coast Guard vessel struck each other while pursuing the Philippine ship. Beijing has accused Manila of dangerous maneuvers, while Manila has maintained a restrained approach, refusing to send additional warships to the shoal to avoid escalation. Analysts see the timing as significant. Anita Abbott, chair of the Asia-Pacific Security Innovation Forum, described the deployment of Chinese vessels as unusual, calling it a form of defensive signalling that often follows major joint exercises between Manila and its allies. The increased presence also coincides with US naval patrols and the launch of Exercise Alon, the Philippines' largest ever military drill with Australia. Observers say the moves highlight China's determination to reinforce its claims, while Manila continues to rely on strategic partnerships to press its case.